Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Flood. A Thunder Bay man has been charged with second-degree murder after an incident on Saturday morning led to the death of a 35-year-old man. The Thunder Bay police were dispatched to a laneway in the 200-block area of May Street South just before 8:30 Saturday morning, following reports of a male in need of emergency medical attention. When police arrived on scene, they observed a male victim who appeared to have sustained injuries consistent with a stabbing. The victim was transported to the Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Center, where he was later pronounced deceased. An investigation led officers to a nearby apartment where 47-year-old Shane Franklin Kruchak was placed under arrest. Kruchak is charged with second-degree murder and breach of probation. The investigation is still ongoing. The province is reporting 4,177 new cases of COVID-19 today, the highest total in nearly 8 months. Medical Officer of Health Dr. Janet DeMille is expressing her concerns over travelers entering the Thunder Bay district. She also says the pieces are quickly coming together to administer booster shots on a larger scale in the region.
So I think travel remains a significant risk for us.
It's been 2 weeks since the Thunder Bay District Health Unit identified the first cases of the Omicron variant in the region. While the province has reinstated 50% capacity limits and reduced indoor and outdoor gathering sizes, travel still remains open within the province. DeMille says travelers coming into the district are among her greatest concerns at this stage, but she credits the health unit in their efforts to keep cases down relative to the rest of the province.
I think though we are, as a health unit, doing much better than most other health units, and I think that's what's concerning me most at this time is the very significant increase in cases in Ontario more broadly, and how that could impact us here. With Omicron spreading so significantly in different parts of the world, that travel is going to introduce more of the virus to our areas.
Booster shot eligibility has expanded to anyone 18 and older beginning Monday, as long as you've received your second dose at least 3 months ago. While DeMille admits they don't have enough staff to administer booster shots all on their own, they're receiving plenty of support from healthcare providers across the district to come into their clinic and accommodate the growing demand for the booster shot.
We have done a lot of work even in this past week to ramp up. We know many healthcare partners are either joining us in our clinic or ramping up their own clinics in their own areas, and that's in Thunder Bay and the district. So that's really good to see, and our numbers have gone up.
A bold step forward this week by the township of Ignace as it has officially announced that the council elected next fall will be the body that decides whether or not the community is a willing host to an underground nuclear waste storage repository. Ignace was one of the first communities to volunteer itself a decade ago as a potential host site for the proposed facility being created by the Nuclear Waste Management Organization. A final decision by the NWMO on whether Ignace or South Bruce will be a suitable site for the project is expected to be made in 2023. But one of the parameters set by the agency is that the community must be a willing host. Many groups and organizations have said that question should be put on the ballot as a referendum or plebiscite. Ignace Mayor Penny Lucas says putting the final decision in the hands of council just makes sense.
Where the community is going to show whether they are part of their willingness. That's part of the willingness process. So I'm sure that every candidate is going to be asked, are you in favor of this project or not? If yes or no, why? And that's going to show NWMO and I guess the rest of the world whether or not Ignace is interested in looking at becoming a host for this project.
Helping out your neighbors is just the nice thing to do, especially around this time of year. However, the village of Rossport will be getting some help from Shreiber for the next 2 years. A new agreement that will see the larger municipality take over fire protection duties and help build capacity for Rossport to hold its own. Adam Riley reports.
The fire department for the township of Shreiber will be lending a hand to one of its neighbors, Rossport, following an agreement between the two communities to provide fire services to the village located 19 kilometers west of Shreiber. Council authorized the 2-year deal at its Tuesday meeting. Fire Chief Jen Morrison says Rossport had a fire team until 2017, when an agreement with the province ended and was without fire protection for some time until a temporary agreement was put in place with Shreiber. He adds they have a bit of work ahead of them to get Rossport back in action.
We are in the process of, making sure that their facilities are back in shape. They've got a one-bay fire hall. Right now, one of our spare trucks is down there right now. They previously held a truck down there, but it was in rough shape and wasn't really fit to continue on. So we've been actually put it into a training role. Our other goal right now is to recruit more people down there.
Due to the inactivity of the fire team in Rossport, there is only one active firefighter in the community. Morrison says this temporary agreement has the potential to become a long-term relationship. Council is also looking for funding options for a much-needed upgrade to its sewage treatment plant. The province has mandated the phasing out of chlorine and convert to UV light treatment, something that is difficult for the 40-year-old plant. Chief Administrative Officer Nathan Diaz says to bring the plant into the 21st century, $700,000 in electrical upgrades is required, with an additional $1.2 million for the UV treatment system. He says council is in agreement to upgrade, but there is a challenge for a small community like Shreiber.
Once we have any of these regulations that come out, it's just a significant infrastructure change to put in a UV disinfection system for us. Finding the perfect program that this project can fit under is another challenge.
Currently, the township is still looking for funding for the UV treatment system and is waiting for a response on an application for the electrical upgrades. Adam Riley, TBT News.
As 2021 begins to wind down, a major piece of reconciliation is about to officially take shape in Fort Frances. On January 1st, Colonization Road East and Colonization Road West will officially become Agaming Drive and Sunset Drive. The initiative to rename the roadways began in late 2020 and was passed by Council in May of this year. Mayor June Call says despite issues arising as a result of how the process was carried out and the negative discourse which played out in community forums, she's happy and is adamant that the renaming had to be done.
Change is hard for people. We know that. It doesn't matter what it is in your life, change is hard. And so I think, by waiting and giving people the time, almost a year of time to wrap their heads around it and get ready for it, I think that made a more positive impact on everybody else.
Once the signs are replaced, the old ones are expected to be sent to various museums to commemorate this one act among many yet to come of reconciliation. The Lakehead Transportation Museum Society has a new addition this winter with their new year-round office, library, and archive that will serve as a mini museum for transportation history. Mitchell Ringos has the details.
The LTMS office space started setting up in November and is already open for public viewing on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 in the afternoon to 4 p.m. The new mini museum hosts a variety of transportation history that was once on the ships down at the marina and is now easily viewable all year round. Lakehead Transportation Museum Society President Charlie Brown says the Alexander Henry is always a must-see in the summer, but having an option in the winter is a game changer.
This is a big deal for us because we have been a seasonal operation, like you say. When winter comes, there's very little for us to do. Unfortunately, we can't do any of our archiving in the middle of the winter on the ship. We can't run a library. We can't run an office. This solves all of those problems right there. So through the whole winter months, we'll be doing that.
And the new office will have many uses, from sorting archive files, workspaces, boardrooms, and more. Also given out at the opening ceremony was 2 inscribed portholes from the Annis Lee for the support from the 2 organizations. LTMS Vice President Wally Peterson says now that they can continue work during the winter season, new projects can be fully focused on.
One of the ones I'm going to be involved with, of course, will be the Annis Lee because of the connection to Fred Burnell and deep diving systems. And since I own the dive store in town, I'll get a little plug for myself. I'm involved with the diving history, and that was a big part of it for here.
The new office will be holding the gift shop for the time being until the ship reopens in the spring, along with the LTMS planning on putting a program together for a lecture film series starting up in the new year. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
A local student at Our Lady of Charity School is going above and beyond this holiday season, selling handcrafted ornaments with the proceeds helping local families. That student is Rocky Fraun, who came up with the idea to help fellow students and community members. The Christmas toque ornament is made up of yarn with a cardboard brim and cotton ball in the middle for support. Fraun has been selling the mini toques at Our Lady of Charity School for $2 each, along with getting some bigger donations from those who wanted to help out. As of right now, he has made over 100 ornaments and raised $250, with the proceeds helping 2 families with a full Christmas dinner and 2 gifts each. Fraun says he has a lot of fun making the handcrafted toques, and he's more than happy to help out during the holidays.
I'm making them because at Christmas time, it's a hard time for some families at my school because from shopping all the gifts, all the food. So I decided to make a little donation of these little toques, and it caught on pretty fast.
Fraun says he had a hard time keeping up with demand this year, so he's planning to continue making them throughout the year to have a stockpile for next Christmas, and he may begin selling them at the hospital as well. Join now with Kurt Black. Kurt, at that age, all I did spend my time was playing video games. This young lad here, he's doing some great work in the community.
Yeah, not only a great little entrepreneur, but a great person for the community. And with so many things with COVID going on, it's a nice positive story. And just like that, we saw that last night with the North Stars. They wrapped up their first half of the season. We'll have the story right after.